This is Linda, and I'm talking about the University Health Service. This is where we provide the healthcare services for you. Here's our, whoops, here's where our mission is to take care of you. Here's a picture of our building, the UHS building. If you've been on campus, you've probably seen it. It's right next to Susan B. Anthony Residence Hall. Very convenient. We are open during the academic year. We're open 7 days a week, and we have office hours on Monday through Thursday in the evening as well, and we're open on the weekend, so it's really quite convenient for you. We also have an office in the medical center, and that's how sometimes students will go there, but mostly if you're on campus, you're going to be seen in our campus office. We have one main number that we use to have students call us for questions, for scheduling an appointment, or just about anything that relates to the University Health Service. Next slide. The services we provide, we have treatment for illnesses and injuries. So think of the health service as your doctor's office right on campus. You do not have to go off campus looking for where you're going to get health care. We do the management of ongoing medical problems, women's health care, immunizations, allergy shots, travel health, physical therapy, just about any kind of care and advice for a health concern. Sometimes we do need to refer you to a specialist, but we can take care of a lot of your primary health care needs right in the health service. We also have a very active UHS Health Promotion Office. That's the office I'm part of, and we provide programs. We have virtual programs right now. We have in-person programs during the school year, so we offer a lot and health information as well. Next. We do it in terms of how you pay for the services at the University Health Service. You all will pay a mandatory health fee that covers your visits to the University Health Service. And that's an unlimited number of visits with our physicians, our nurse practitioners, and our nurses. Our counseling center is part of the University Health Service, and they provide comprehensive initial assessments and individualized treatment plans that might include individual therapy, group therapy, many other things that they offer through the counseling center. And then the health promotion office again. And then one of the things that's really helpful is when we're closed, we have a physician on call and a mental health professional on call for those urgent concerns that can't wait until we open the next day. All students must also have health insurance, and we offer a very good health plan called the UR Student Health Insurance Plan through Aetna or with Aetna. It is required that you have health insurance, but it is not required that you have RN health insurance. You will want to see what your plan is. If you have a plan through your parent or on your own, will that work for you? You can waive the insurance if you choose to, but we do encourage you to look at our plan to see what it offers. Key points are our visits are by appointment. All students have a primary care provider at UHS so that you're seeing as much as possible the same person every time you come. All the visits are confidential. The visits are covered by the mandatory health fee when you come to the University Health Service. And we have offices on the River Campus, the Medical Center, and the Eastman School of Music. And then I already mentioned the physician on call. We have our main number, and here is our website with all of our information. We have two requirements for you. One is the health history form, and there are immunizations that are required by New York State and by the University of Rochester. The deadline that you would see, I don't know if you've received your forms yet, but when you do receive them, it will say June 30th. We've extended that deadline to July 31st, knowing that this is a challenging time to, one, get the forms mailed out, but also to get the information from your doctors or your schools. The online insurance process, this is where you tell us if you're going to enroll in our insurance plan or if you're going to waive it. The deadline for completion is September 15th, but we really encourage students to enroll much sooner. So we would like students to be enrolling by I think it's July 10th. And that way it just works better for all the billing and all the just having that taken care of. You will receive information about the online insurance process in June. So that is all for now. And I'm going to pass it over to Rachel from CEDL, and she'll tell you what CEDL stands for.
Hi, my name is Rachel Remmel. I am an assistant dean in the college and the executive director of the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning. That's a very long office name, so we're often called CEDL instead, which is shorter. Essentially what my office does is all of the support for teaching and learning. So if you're a faculty member and you want to come to my office, we can help you figure out how to make your coursework as best as possible for students. If you're a student, we can help you learn how to study effectively and how to access resources that will support you in your courses. This semester, we, like a lot of schools, transition to online services, and we are fully prepared to offer our services in either format, depending on what fall brings us. Although we very much hope we'll all be here in person. So in terms of when you might want to come use CETL services, that's typically when you're studying and you feel like you're working hard, and then you get the results of some test or assignment or assessment, and you think, you know what, I worked really hard and I didn't do as well as I expected here. A lot of first-year students will react to that by doubling down on whatever studying strategies they were using. I'm just going to do more of the same, but for more hours. And we really recommend that if you're working hard and not getting the results you want, you come in and see us, because what might need to happen instead is that instead of working more hours, you just need to work differently and learn some different strategies from the folks that work for me about how to do that. And our philosophy is that all of our services are free, they're voluntary, and they're confidential. And that we do those as baseline principles to make sure that students don't feel like they're gonna, have any barrier to seeking help. We also use evidence-based practices. So we spend a lot of time reading educational research and making sure that all of the things that we recommend to students have a good basis in research and are really going to help them. We have a number of programs that are course specific. So those are ones that are associated with a particular topic or subject or course. And our probably biggest program is the peer-led team learning workshop program, which is a mouthful. It's called Workshops on Campus. And those are small group problem-based learning sections where students get to work on a really hard problem with their peers who are in a class. And we train other students who recently took the course to help them through those problems so that they can learn effectively in those larger courses. We also have study groups associated with specific courses, tutoring either in one-on-one format or in drop-in groups. In terms of general studying, we have different varieties of study skills. So you can take that as a standalone course called Methods of Inquiry. You can, as a student organization, request a workshop from our office. You can also get one-on-one individual study skills appointments. And those are for things like test management, test prep, how do I manage my time, all of those kinds of things. How do I take good notes, use effective reading strategies? And we also have a program called the Study Zone, where students can come in and use a physical space and get checked in and checked out by leaders to help them plan goals and set good routines and think about what's working best for them in terms of studying. And the last thing I wanted to mention about my office is that we employ a lot of students. It's a great place to work. We're really proud of the way that we develop our student leaders. We hire people who have recently taken those courses themselves, typically for tutors and other kinds of course-specific things. We work with education graduate students. So if you're thinking about student employment, we're a great place to think about. And we train all of our peer educators in credit-bearing courses so we can be confident that the kind of services they're delivering are really high quality. So I'll leave it there and pass it over to Amy White from Disability Resources.
Thanks, Rachel. Hi, everybody. I'm Amy White from Disability Resources. And if you bear with me for a minute, I'm going to share my screen. A couple slides to share with you. Or maybe I won't if it's not working. So I'll just talk. Like I said, I'm from Disability Resources. We are an office that provides services for students with disabilities, both undergraduates and graduates at the University of Rochester. We mostly serve undergraduates in art sciences and engineering. That's the bulk of our population, but we do work with any students taking classes across campus. So if you decide to take classes at Eastman, we can help support you with accommodations and services over there or at the Med Center. So we work holistically throughout the university. So what our mission is to make sure that students with disabilities have equal access to all components of the educational environment. So making sure that they have the same equitable experience that their non-disabled peers have, and that's in courses and co-curricular activities and their living experiences and their labs, really everything that makes up campus life. And so when students want to register with our office, there's 3 easy steps that are involved in it. They have to fill out an application on our website. It's on rochester.edu/college/disability. And you'll see it right on our homepage there. There's an application for academic accommodations that you can fill out, and it just lets us know your background, what sorts of things you've used in the past that were helpful, what sorts of things you might think you'll need in the college setting. There's also a separate application for housing accommodations. So if you're looking for modifications to your dorm room or your residential life experience, you can fill out an application for that there as well. Once you fill out the application, you can upload documentation or send it to our office. Anything that you have from high school or from your doctor's office can help. We do have guidelines on our website, or you're welcome to contact us, of course, if you have any questions about that. And then the final part of the process is to talk with an access coordinator in our office. So you'll meet with somebody one-on-one. And since we're all working remotely these days, we're happy to do that via Zoom or phone or whatever is convenient for you over the summer. Or hopefully if we're all in person in the fall, we can meet together face-to-face. But what happens in the intake interview is just, it's an opportunity for us to get to know you, to hear more about your personal experience, what works well for you, what sorts of questions you might have, and then get everything in place so that you have that equal access in your classes. So it's a pretty easy process, just those 3 steps, but we certainly welcome questions. I hope that you folks will email or contact us. Again, we're happy for Zoom appointments even before you decide to do the application process. So at any point over the summer or when you arrive on campus, reach out to us, disability@rochester.edu, and we'd love to connect with you. And so with that, I will turn it over to my colleague Rose in residential life.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Rose Weeples. I am the area coordinator for the residential quad, which includes the first year quad area, which is where a little less than half of our first year students live. So I will be going through that with you a little bit today. As you guys can see on your screen here, those are kind of where our first year residential areas are located, and we do call them fairly central to campus. Here is the 3 first year buildings that are part of the residential quad, and Susan B. Anthony and Genesee, which is known as the First Year Hill, is over here by the library and some of our athletic fields. We have a number of upper class housing as well. There is some on the residential quad, and then kind of behind this box that has statistics in it, there's a couple other areas. We have some across the river, and we have some over down by the medical campus as well. We have a variety of staff that are in our residence halls. Resident directors is the former title for area coordinators. I haven't had a chance to update this yet, but area coordinators are in charge of a variety of halls. We are full-time professional staff that live in each building for emergency reasons. So I live here along with my family in case of any type of emergency. If there were to be a fire or flood or something, we do have a full-time professional staff member here in each one of our areas all the time. Our graduate head residents, or GHRs as we call them, are the RA staff supervisors, and they run smaller individual halls, usually 1 hall, sometimes 2. RAs are pretty common, and we have a lot of them both in upper class and first year areas. They're pretty much what you'd expect: community builders, programmers. They assist with enforcement of university policies. They're also our first responders for a lot of issues in the hall. So if you are having any type of emergency after hours or in the middle of the day, if you can find an RA, they'll be able to help you out. We also have a couple other additions to that staff group in our first year areas, just for first year students. So first year fellows is our academic live-in mentors. They will help with registration. They will help with bringing academics and faculty into the halls. Sometimes they will bring CETL or our personal librarians into the halls to talk with students and help them kind of where they live, bringing those academic resources in. DeLions is actually the oldest on-campus organization for Dandelions. They are kind of the spirit and celebration of the hall. They are the welcomers of the first years. They also have a large community service component, and again, that celebratory component of everyone being together, having social interactions in the hall, social programs, making sure that folks have joined clubs and found their niche here and feel comfortable and have met friends. And those are also unique to the first year areas. If you as a first year student or incoming first year student are looking to get involved, there is a leadership position on this team that can be for you. Our Eco-Rep program is for first year students, and it's actually a class, and those are our sustainability coordinators that live in each hall. So look out for information on that if you're interested. In our halls, we have primarily double rooms. We also have some singles. We typically also have triples as well in the buildings that are more designed to handle triple spaces. So those are the biggest rooms in our system. We have a very small number of singles. Those typically go to students with accommodations or just randomly throughout. You might get lucky and get a single, but there are very few of them, particularly in our first year areas. Most of our students will live in double size rooms. We have a variety of different configurations of our floors. So you could live on what we call a co-ed by random room floor, which is the entire floor is co-ed. It could be male, female, female, male, female, male, male, female, just all the way down the hallway, just random. We also have co-ed by corridor, which means that there would be a male side of the hall and a female side of the hall, typically around some type of a corner or after a lounge or something like that, the transition would occur. And then we have entire floors that are a single gender. Those are typically on our shorter buildings like Genesee, which is a very short building lengthwise, and an entire floor would be just one gender. So we have a variety. That is one of the things that you are allowed to choose in your housing application, is which one of those you are interested in. We also have some what we call affinity housing areas for our first years. Currently, these were all in Susan B. Anthony last year. We're anticipating that again for next year. So substance-free, which is alcohol, drugs, smoking, any substances on or off the floor. Non-smoking, which is again on or off the floor. We have some students who just prefer that, or students who have maybe strong allergies or asthma or something like that, that would prefer to be in an environment where no one is smoking or bringing any of those smells or anything back to the floor. And then while all of our areas have quiet hours after a certain point in the day, there's also a 24/7 quiet hours floor and community that we have as well. So that's one of the other things you can select on your housing application. And then this page here just talks a little bit about our application process. This actually says contracts are mailed. We do contracts online now, so you guys should get information about that after you have accepted and been admitted. Admissions will kind of impart all of those forms along with many others on you. And our contract deadline currently is June 3rd for on-time consideration. Anything that's submitted after June 3rd could result in being assigned to a triple room if we are at an overcapacity state. And then just so that everyone knows, you cannot preference a specific building or area unless you are an early decision student, and those are preferences, they're not guarantees. Otherwise, students are placed throughout our system randomly. Again, look out for that Eco-Rep information, and if you're wondering when you're going to hear about assignments, that is typically in early July. That will also include any contact information for roommates if you're assigned any roommates. And that's it for me. Next up on our list is Cam from Dining.
Thanks, Rose. Let me share my screen. All right. As Rose said, I'm Cam Schauff. I'm the Director of Campus Dining and Auxiliary Operations. And I'd like to spend a little bit of time letting you know about our dining program, but particularly about the meal plans. Our program is very much a student-driven program with lots of opportunities for students to have input. There's a strong operational team that are part of the student's total support team on campus. We have a health and wellness manager to help with special dietary needs, and she is a registered dietitian. We have unlimited meal plans and declining plans. And I'll tell you a little bit more about those in the next slide. And there's a lot of information about our program at dining.rochester.edu. Before I go into meal plans, let me tell you a little bit more about the program itself. These are our commitments. And these are things that we strive to achieve and exceed every day. Additive-free, responsibly sourced, locally procured, made from scratch, and nutritionally balanced. Our chefs go beyond technique and flavor to ensure that each dish is prepared with integrity and care. And they stay true to these culinary commitments. Very proud of the culinary team that we've assembled here at the University of Rochester. And I can't wait for you all to get here to this campus to see all of the wonderful things that they prepare on a daily basis. So our meal plans for first-year students are all pass plans. And there are two kinds. There are the unlimited pass plans, and there are there's the 150 pass plan. The unlimited pass plans is the one that I would recommend for most people because it gives you so many different options as you get to learn the university and decide where you want to be spending your time. The pass plans work really well for anyone who wants to eat 3 squares a day, or for people that just want to graze. With the unlimited plan, you get to go in and out of Danforth and Douglas on Eastman Dining Center as many times as you please during the course of the day. So you can go in, grab an apple on the way to class, and come back after class and have a full breakfast. So it gives you a lot of flexibility. And you can use it in other places other than just the all you care to eat facilities. You can use grab and go. You can use swipes, as we call them, or your passes in grab and go, and in the pit, which includes Rockies. And for using them in the pit and Rockies, it's after 8 p.m., 7 days a week. It also includes bonus swipes. The swipes themselves do not roll over. They have to be used in the course of the semester. Every one of these plans also has some declining. And the declining is good for dining locations on River Campus, but you wouldn't want to use them where you can use swipes. You might want to use them for coffee in Starbucks or something along those lines. There are also 3 dining locations in the medical center where you can use your declining, as well as being able to use it at Eastman. You can make deposits online, and declining rolls over. So if you don't use all of your fall declining in the fall semester, that will roll over and join your declining for the spring semester. But all declining not used by the end of the year will disappear. And we have budget sheets available online so that you know where you should be on your declining spending. Euros is an optional declining balance plan. It can be used in the bookstore, copying, printing for non-food items in our markets, vending machines, and tickets for events. It can also be used in all our food service operations, but I would recommend against it because euros is the same as cash. So there will be sales tax on your food purchases using euros, whereas your declining purchases are all tax-free. We also have a number of businesses off campus where euros can be used. And euros, unlike declining, stays in a student's account for the entire time that they're here, and money that is left over at the end is refunded. For making deposits in euros and in declining, you would just go to learn.rochester.edu. And if you're making a deposit in your own account, you would follow the instructions to do that. But there are also instructions on guest deposits. So if parents want to make deposits into a student's account, they can also do it through this very same website. Our dining operations, there are lots of things to choose from. I talked a little bit about our residential facilities, Danforth and Douglas. And residential for us, it means that you pay as you enter and then can have whatever you want within that facility without having to pay again. Eastman has a residential component, but it also has a retail component. Our other retail operations are the Pit, Rockies, Grab and Go, Hillside Market, Southside Market, Starbucks, Connections, and Pete's. That's the end of my presentation, and I'd like to introduce George Vanderswag with athletics.
Hi, congratulations to all of you for reaching this point. We look forward to having you on campus soon. I've been here for 21 years in the role of Director of Athletics and Recreation. We have an extremely robust operation. Full-time students have access to our facilities and programs. You do not pay any sort of athletic fee, so it's part of your tuition. And we have 23 varsity sports that compete at an NCAA Division III level. That means they are non-scholarship programs. So the students on our teams, and we have about 500 of them, sort of experience campus life like every other student, and are making the same investment in their education as every other student. We also have lots and lots of club sports. Club sports are overseen by our student activities office, but they work closely with my staff and use lots of our facilities on a regular basis. So we provide them some support and direction in terms of them pursuing their interest in competing on teams in a slightly less formal way than varsity teams, but in a pretty significantly robust team format in some respects. And they do compete intercollegiately, which means they compete with students from other institutions. Our intramural program is designed to provide students some opportunities to engage in athletics with each other. These are competitions against fellow students, and we have a large menu of intramural sports. We also offer fitness classes as sort of part of our intramural program. So our fitness classes are available to students. There's no extra charge for those classes, and we try to encourage students to find things that work with their schedules and meet their interests, and give them some opportunity to engage in some athletics pursuit. There's lots of informal recreation that takes place on our campus, and so we support that through access to facilities and to equipment. So if you want to play tennis, if you want to play squash, if you want to play racquetball, if you want to play basketball, if you want to swim, all these things are available to you, and we do provide equipment for activities. And so you don't necessarily need to own a racket. If you want to play racquetball, you can check that out at the gym when you arrive with your ID. So we're excited that you're interested in coming to Rochester. We're thrilled that we can be part of your daily life. We encourage students to take advantage of the opportunities in athletics and recreation. And of course, we're here to answer any questions and provide any support that we can. And I'm going to end that now and turn it over to my colleague, Dr. Guzman-Ray from the Burgett Intercultural Center, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. So thanks very much.
Thank you for that. I'm just sharing a picture with everybody just so you could see what the Intercultural Center looks like. So that's just one view of our center. Hola and good afternoon. My name is Dr. Jessica Guzman-Ray, and I'm the director of the Paul J. Burgett Intercultural Center. The BIC is a joint venture of the Office of Dean of Students and the David T. Kern Center. It exists to promote cultural awareness and engagement, educate on issues of identity, culture, and diversity, and provide avenues for intersection and opportunities for collaboration. We are a safe space for all students and sponsor many opportunities for our campus community to come together and talk about the different ways that we self-identify. This may include aspects of your identity such as your race, national origin, orientation, gender, religion, disability, just to name a few. We also host some signature programs such as the One Community program and our LGBTQ meet and greets held during orientation. We have programs and events throughout the academic year that are cultural, intercultural, or intersectional. We like to focus on all aspects of your identity. Our center is located in Douglas Commons, so this is a space of our center here. And there's a community kitchen on the 4th floor, which we use many times as part of our programming, so that's really exciting. I chair the College Diversity Roundtable and respond to bias-related incidents on campus. In response to those incidents, we will host one community dialogues and have a couple of discussion groups that fall under our center. These discussion groups are not limited, but just give you a quick example, such as queer students of color or tint, transgender, intersex, non-gender conforming, non-binary, and two-spirit. We also host many trainings and workshops about implicit bias, understanding one's privilege, intercultural communication and awareness, and safe zone training. Myself and our LGBTQ coordinator have been able to offer all of our workshops in a virtual format and are available via email or Zoom or phone calls to help any students who are considering the U of R and have questions. We do employ undergraduate students. They could be federal work study or not within our center. And these are our program assistants who help to plan programs and are trained to facilitate our ever-growing list of workshops. All of our programs count towards the Medallion Leadership Program, which my colleague will tell you a little bit more in a minute, and I'm happy to answer questions in the chat. On that note, I'll hand it over to my colleague, Dr. Brian McGee from Wilson Commons Student Activities.
Hello all, I am sharing my screen, so bear with me 1 second. Hello all, so you should see some fast facts up on the screen. Again, my name is Brian McGee from Wilson Commons Student Activities. And Wilson Commons Student Activities really oversees two major aspects of student life, sort of our student life spaces that I'll talk about, as well as building community, student organizations, and student life. As you can see on the screen, some colleagues have talked about these spaces before, but in our student life spaces, we have the Campus Center, which includes Wilson and Douglas Commons, as well as other spaces on campus, such as Genesee Hall, which also serves as a residence hall. We have a tutoring center, as well as Spurrier Hall and O'Brien Dance Studio, also in a residence hall. So our office sort of oversees all those spaces, and as a Rochester student, you will have access and really be engaged in all of those spaces. Furthermore, what's inside, they are filled with conference, meeting rooms, a major ballroom for events, student organization events, campus events. A lot of the student organization offices that hopefully you'll be a part of have space there. The Office of the Dean of Students is on our 5th floor. We have food service that Cam that talked about in dining services. They have a major place called the Pit, and yes, we have a Starbucks, a very busy Starbucks on our 3rd floor. We have a lactation room, an evolution room, meditation room. As Dr. Guzman-Ray said, we have the community kitchen, which is really leading in student centers. Student organizations can host an event in a kitchen. We work very closely with dining services who do displays, who do cooking demonstrations. It's a great partnership. Then we also have various all-gender restrooms throughout those spaces as well. New, we have our food pantry, which is really buzzing right now. It's a resource for students that can come if you need food or anything like that. It's a service that's available to all undergraduate students and around other schools. On the other side from the space, we have our programming. Our office is known for really boosting so-called Rochester traditions. And those, some are on the screen. We have the community weekends, Yellow Jacket Weekend, which is the Welcome Back Weekend, Meliora Weekend, which is our parent weekend, Alumni Weekend, Winterfest, sort of our enjoying the winter blues, and we have comedians, Springfest weekend, which is sort of the celebration of the end of class. We also have a live outdoor concert. This past year, due to everything that was happening, we were actually the only college and university in the country to host a live virtual concert online for our students. So we had over 2,000 students log in and watch the live concert, which was pretty awesome. We have a Spirit Week for all the first-year students. Celebrate Diversity is a tradition that really highlights a lot of our cultural student organizations and usually occurs during orientation. Our activities that happens twice a year, our annual Boar's Head Dinner, and then Senior Week. So once you make it through all the way to the end, we celebrate your experience as well. And just going over some real quick numbers, our office gives away over 5,200 Rochester items. They're definitely highly sought after, so you can wear U of R swag when you get to campus. We have almost 3,000 events a year between campus-wide programs, department programs, and student organization events. So there's no doubt that when you come and get involved, you will be part and enjoy a lot of those activities. We also host a major program called You Are Late Night, which offers programs every Friday and Saturday between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. in the campus center, from bingo to game nights to casino nights to esport game nights. We really do outdoor movie, you name it, we've done it. And it's just an alternative for students on those times to go out, meet friends, network, and enjoy some programming. And formally, as Dr. Guzman-Ray mentioned, the Medallion Program. The Medallion Program is the premier student leadership program on campus. It's a tiered leadership program where various offices around the college and the university, a lot of the people, again, on this panel offer workshops through their offices for students to develop skills to boost their leadership efficacy in their positions and in their roles as students. And then 280 plus student organizations. As George Vanderswag mentioned, club sports, very active category. We have over almost 48 club sports. And if there's something that you want to do, you're passionate about that you don't see, you can definitely create it at the University of Rochester, create your own club. It's definitely a possibility. Lastly, the majority of our student life and student organizations live on the CCC. When you come to campus, you will hear that nonstop. ccc.rochester.edu really is your gateway to campus life and to student organization life. So definitely check that out. You can see what clubs and organizations we offer. We have 85% of our students are involved in at least one or more organization, which compared to our peer institutions, that's very high. Our students here are very passionate and want to build community and want to be engaged on and off campus. And lastly, since we are such a big office, we also are a major student employer, right? We have over 100 student employees that manage our spaces, help with our programming, and work very closely with us to help provide the best student experience and to help build the community as best as possible. And that is all that I have, and I'm going to turn it over to our colleagues in Education Abroad.
Hi everyone, my name is Alita Anthony. I'm the Director of Operations for our Center for Education Abroad, and thanks for joining us today. You've made it almost to the end of our presentation. I'm excited to be here and share with you some opportunities that you have to study abroad with the University of Rochester, and that could be a study program or just an education abroad experience. So just a little information on how to begin. A lot of students will wonder where do I even start? And you can start right with our office located in Dewey Hall on campus. We are right now offering virtual meetings and advising meetings with our Education Abroad advisors if you want to just get started and ask some questions. So the first place is to really just take a look at the programs that we do have. We have quite an extensive portfolio of programs for students to take advantage of, and that is ever changing as we build our partnerships abroad with different universities and organizations. So we've got something for everyone. So one big question that a lot of folks have is, when should I go abroad, and also who can go abroad? So the answer to that question, the first one of who can go abroad, is every student can go abroad. So there are a lot of different types of programs that we offer for students. It could be a traditional academic program, it can be a language program. We have service learning, internships, even engineers and chemistry majors can still take the opportunity to study abroad. As far as when, that's really up to the early planning that we want you to have with our advisors and also with your academic advisor. And so we have students starting in their sophomore year that can study abroad, but the most popular time is to go during the junior year for fall or spring. The maximum time that students typically go abroad is 2 semesters together. You could do multiple short-term programs, maybe a summer program and a semester-long program, but the maximum time would be 2 semesters back-to-back. And then we have the short-term program, summer, winter break, or a spring break program. This is just to give a little bit of an idea. I mentioned a lot of our students go their junior year. So as you can see from here, the most popular time to go is that spring semester, followed very closely by fall semester of the junior year. And this, over the last several years, just gives you an idea of the top 5 locations that our students tend to go to. This is definitely not exhaustive. We have different programs through Russia, through Asia, South America, Africa, so there are a lot of different options for students. How to apply, the whole application process is done online through our application portal. So here are just some deadlines that when you would meet with an advisor in our office, thinking about first establishing when do you want to go abroad, and then we'll work backwards from there to determine when your deadline would be for your application. And we'll work with you through every step until you're ready to go. Funding for education abroad, this is a big question for students, and we don't want this to be a barrier for students. We always want you to come in and talk with us. Even if you think that you might not be able to afford it, there are a lot of different programs, scholarships, grants, financial aid, if you are eligible for that, that can be used for a study abroad opportunity. So don't let that stop you if this is a goal to have an abroad experience. So there's different types of tuition and housing costs depending on the type of program that you go on. We'll work with you on a budget of out-of-pocket expenses that you might need to consider, and then also look at the different scholarships that are available. As I mentioned, if you're financial aid, if you are eligible for financial aid, if you're going on a semester program, you do get to take that financial aid with you to help cover those costs. And there are also scholarships available for all of the different terms. And then of course, we'll work with you on the courses to make sure that they're going to transfer back and work towards your major. And this is just a quick glimpse of our staff that's here to help you. Again, we're here remote for you right now, and we'll be happy to greet you when we're all back on campus. Thank you.
Thank you so much to all of our panelists. We've already answered lots of your questions, which is fantastic. Thank you to all of my colleagues for jumping in there and answering all those questions. I encourage you to ask more questions now if you still have them. There were a few popular questions that I noticed, and I wanted to get to those right away and make sure we answered them so all of you could hear. We certainly had popular questions around when you'll be receiving all of these things that we're talking about in terms of what's your next step, right? So we will be mailing out electronically housing information, dining information, and lots more information about kind of your next steps at the university in the 3rd week of May. That's when we're planning to send those right now. And we will also be following up with your health forms in the mail and looking to send those to you later in May and the beginning of June as well, as we're able to get back onto campus here. There were quite a few questions about the housing forms and survey that you're going to fill out. So I'm going to turn that over to Rose to talk a little bit more about that survey and what that process looks like.
Yeah, so one of the things that I wouldn't say is unique, but certainly different than maybe you'll see at some other schools is that we don't utilize a full survey. The research in our field, that is residential life, actually doesn't see a difference in outcomes based on if a student fills out a 100 question survey to be matched with someone, or if it was completely random. Where the success indicators actually are in that what we call a shared living agreement or a roommate agreement that we do actually here during orientation. That's part of probably 2 different floor meetings. You'll work with your roommate or roommates. Your RA will help you, your fellow in DeLion will help you, and we go through that. As long as that is taken seriously and done in depth, that's actually a better indicator of a successful roommate pair than a roommate survey that would put you together. So we don't utilize a survey. Most of the questions that you'll be asked are kind of some of the things I talked about. Do you want a co-ed or a single gender floor? Do you want to live in one of our substance free or other affinity housing areas? Kind of those types of questions are mostly what you're going to see on the contract. So it's actually a very quick form.
Thanks, Rose. And Rose mentioned orientation. Orientation actually is going to start next week, believe it or not. So next week on Tuesday and Wednesday, we have sessions for international and domestic students that you can sign up for. right where you signed up for this session on the Class of 2024 website. And you'll hear from our orientation office and from lots of other folks around the college who are already ready to get you onto campus or feeling like you're on campus starting next week. And orientation will continue throughout the summer. So you don't even have to wait very long, just a few more days, and we're gonna get that process started for you. There are some other sessions that might be of interest as well, so I'd encourage you to pop on there and see what else is going on next week that might be helpful. So we've got a few more questions coming in. Cam, can I ask you maybe just to talk a little bit more about the meal plan options? I think these are always hot topics for students to understand. Is it unlimited? Is it unlimited for everybody? Are there choices for students? Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Oh, you just got to go ahead and unmute first.
All right, this time I'll actually speak. As Jennifer said, you'll be getting information about how to go about choosing your meal plan and filling out the information for housing. So when you get that, you'll have 3 choices for meal plans. You will have 2 different unlimited plans, the Meliora plan and the Blue plan. The Meliora plan, it comes with $500 in declining, and the Blue plan comes with $350. The Blue plan is perfect for most people. If you've got a serious Starbucks addiction, you might want the Meliora plan so that you've got a little bit more declining for that. The Pass plan comes with $850 in declining, but it comes with, it's 150 passes. And to put that into perspective, in an average semester, that's about 8 swipes per week. So you're budgeting your declining at 850, you're budgeting your swipes, making sure that you don't go overboard so that you don't find yourself at the end of the semester with no meal plan left. With the unlimited, that isn't going to happen. That's why I definitely suggest, if you have no idea what to do, I suggest that you go with the unlimited plan. And if you have questions after today, you just go to our website and contact us. And there's several different people that answer that website, and we'll make sure that you get the answers that you need to make your choices.
Thanks. Jessica, can I ask you to share a little bit about how can students get off campus and engage with what's going on in the Rochester community?
Yeah, I was seeing a lot of emails about transportation. So we have free university shuttle buses that will take you all around the city. It will take you to a mall, to shopping like Walmart. We have Wegmans, which is a grocery shopping. There is an Asian market. They have, it can even take you to the Memorial Art Gallery, which is part of the University of Rochester. The shuttle connects to the Eastman School of Music, and there's really nice coffee shop over there. So that's really great, like transportation, very easy, just hop on, hop off. There's an app so you can track the shuttle buses, how they go around. We also have city buses that come through, and very inexpensively. I mean, right now in this pandemic, they're actually free, but really inexpensive mode of transportation. So we have that. We also have, through the Rochester Center for Community Leadership and WCSA, the Wilson Commons Student Activities, they have vans, essay vans that will take students out when they're volunteering. So when they're volunteering with the community, like on a Saturday morning to go tutor students, or do some sort of activity, sometimes transportation is included in that activity. So also our underclassmen will find upperclassmen that have cars and hitch a ride. So a lot of carpooling, car sharing. We do have Zip cars if you have a license. And we also have a bike program that's on campus. So you can use an app to rent a bike and go around. And a lot of students have been doing that. That has been really popular, and they're in different places around the city. So you can pick up a bike from campus and then like drop it off somewhere else and then pick up another one somewhere else and get around. So a lot of cool stuff that for shopping for your basic needs, but also just to really kind of engage with the greater city of Rochester, which is really vibrant and wonderful and lovely.
Thank you. I'm going to ask Brian to talk a little bit more about Greek life. What is Greek life? I think that can be a really tough topic for a lot of students to understand what it is, and what does it look like at Rochester?
Absolutely. So we consider Greek life sort of under our student organizations. We do have a director and an office dedicated to fraternity and sorority affairs. We have under 30 at the moment, both fraternities and sororities combined. They're about half and half, about 15 each. And those are pretty social organizations that fraternities can live together. There are some sororities that live together, or members of the sororities that choose to live together. They do a lot of philanthropic activities together, a lot of community service together, a lot of social programs together. They also are very involved in student life overall on campus. They co-sponsor events. They work with very closely with departments, sponsor runs, sponsor 5Ks, and do a lot for the campus community. So it's just another avenue, another social student organization that the students can join. They do rush. We don't allow rushing for first-year students in the first semester. We like to get them acclimated to campus and they can explore what that all looks like. And then later on in their spring semester, they have the ability to learn more about what that looks like, meet a lot of the members that are active on campus, and then get more questions answered, learn more about the experience, and then choose to rush or not to join.
Thank you. I'm seeing a great question for Alita. It's about, can engineers study abroad? I think this is beyond engineers, but sometimes our student athletes will have this question. They think that maybe they can't study abroad, or students who are pre-med or pre-vet, things like that. How easy is it for students maybe that fall into those different categories to study abroad?
Sure, thank you for that question. The best answer I can give to that is plan early. So see your department academic advisor and an advisor from the Education Abroad office, even your very first year on campus, to map that out and plan. So it is right that for some majors, there may be some courses that must be taken at the U of R, and they might be offered only on certain terms. So we really just want to work with your schedule to make sure that we map that out, and to then see what opportunities are available for you. So we do actually have some specific programs for our engineering students. So that's absolutely a possibility. And it is one of the benchmarks for the Hagen School of Engineering to get as many students as it can to study abroad. So sometimes depending on a schedule, or maybe with depending on the athletic team that you're on, perhaps a full semester program may not be available to you depending on that schedule. But there are still lots of programs for the summer and also for the winter break and summer term. So there's lots of different combinations that we can come up with for you. It's just a matter of coming in early. I wouldn't come the first semester of your junior year as an engineering student and then say that you want to spend a semester abroad. We'll try everything we can, but it's going to be hard to work that in that late.
Thank you. We're just about out of time, and it looks like we've answered more than 50 questions in the Q&A, which is fantastic. I'm going to put a few of you on the spot. If I ask everyone to do this, you will inevitably all unmute at the same time and try to answer, but we'll try this anyways. Who has a great piece of advice that they would like to share with our first-year students? Maybe you've worked here for 21 years and you've gotten to know a lot of first-year students over the time. Or you work with lots of first-year students. What's a piece of advice, maybe if you could turn back time for yourself or for other students, what's something you would recommend to students? Anybody? Thanks, George.
I'll take a crack. So I would say that you have lots and lots of opportunities in front of you. You can do so many things at an incredible level when you're here. We ask you to take responsibility for your education, and we ask you to make your path, make it fit your interests and your skills, and we're going to do everything we can to support you, but this is in your hands, and we're here to make it all possible. So we look forward to having you. Congratulations and good luck.
I take a crack at that one too. I would say I would really take advantage of some of the arts opportunities in Rochester. The Memorial Art Gallery is part of the University of Rochester, and they have a world-class art collection. It's phenomenal. I'm an art historian, so I'm a little biased towards that. But I also used to work at Eastman School of Music, which is one of the very best music schools in the country, if not the best. They're regularly ranked on top, and they have amazing concerts every single day where you can hear the best classical musicians being trained, and those are all free, and it's a phenomenal opportunity. And there are tons of other arts and cultural opportunities in the city, like a jazz festival and film festivals, and really getting out in the community and especially taking advantage of those arts opportunities.
So if there's time, I'd say connect with people on campus and staff members. I'm from the health promotion office, and we work with students all the time. We're finding students who take our peer health advocacy course in the spring semester. Some of them become interns, but that connection to those of us on the staff who really want to get to know students, and for students, I think it's enriched their experience on our campus and maybe help with figuring out some career ideas based on what it's like to work in, say, an office like mine. So that's my advice.
My advice is get out off campus and really learn to enjoy Rochester. Rochester has got a fantastic music scene, an incredible restaurant scene, art. It is a city that continues to surprise me. I've been here 15 years, and there's just so much to do. I think once you get off campus and get to know the city, you'll just appreciate everything that Rochester and the university has to offer.
And I will say, sort of going off of what everyone said, we host a program in student activities office called Rock Ticks, where we offer discount tickets to some of the music opportunities, some of these restaurants, some of the theater opportunities, sporting events. We buy bulk tickets and then work with students so they can buy them at a much lower reduced cost to get students out into the community to build their connections with the Rochester community. So that's another program that we offer that students always take advantage of. We've done Wicked, we've done, I mean, you name it, we've done it. And it's just a great opportunity for students to meet new people, step outside their comfort zone, which would be my advice. Try something new, right? Take a class outside your major, right? Take a humanities class if you're a science person. That will open up so many doors and get you thinking about things so differently, which will only help you when you leave Rochester, right? It'll help you think more critically about the person and the global citizen that you want to be.
My advice is to make lots of friends, and participate in different groups and try to find your niche. We have a large international population and domestic students from all over. And so I think meeting new people, talking to other people, I think that's really how you're going to learn, grow, and explore, learn about yourself and learn about others. I think it's just college is just a great, fun time. Obviously, we haven't left. We consider higher ed our choice of employment. So I just feel like just take it all in and ask for help. Ask for help. There is nothing wrong with asking for advice, or if you don't know where to go, just ask any one of us. If you see us on campus, we will point you in the right direction. We've been there for a while. We kind of know folks in different areas and can always help out. So just reach out, ask for help.
That was a lot of great advice. Thank you so much to all of you for joining us today. Thank you so much to my awesome colleagues here for joining us on a Friday afternoon to share more with our incoming students. I encourage all of you to join us next week for those orientation sessions. If you can't join us, that's okay. They're going to be recorded and they'll be posted so that you can refer to them later. Please feel free to join us for those sessions or join later if you can't do that, and jump on our website and see what else we have going on in the coming weeks for you to learn more about Rochester. Thanks again to everyone. I really appreciate it, and I hope everybody has a great weekend. We look forward to seeing you this August. Bye-bye.